This is Girls Stop Playing, a weekly show that empowers Black women to stop playing with their potential so they can live a life that they love. I'm Koereyelle, your favorite homegirl, and I'm on a mission to help Black women make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you're willing to work. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Koereyelle, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. You already know I'm bringing you the information and the conversations to help you make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And today I get to introduce y'all to a working woman who's making the money. She got the honey. She's living her mommy life, and she is like a really good friend. And I need to find out like how she does it all. We got Sybil in the building.
Do a little body roll.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl.
So let me tell y'all how we even ended up here, okay?
Yes.
So Sybil and I had the honor of being featured on Couch Conversations, the Black Love series. We were on the couch together, found out you were a fellow podcaster, didn't even realize that I was familiar with your podcast.
I know. You
And
either.
here we
I
are.
know.
And here we
Like,
are.
well, we got all the same friends, but we didn't know we had all the same friends. So we must be people.
Right?
Hey,
right.
people.
We must be good people. Good people seem to find each other.
Exactly.
So I was intrigued, and I think I told you this when I met you, with not necessarily intrigued by the conversation around friendship, but for you to start an entire platform dedicated to friendships, you have to be a good friend. So what was the in theory, what was the mission though? Like what made you say, okay, I'm gonna start a podcast and it's gonna be about friendship?
So the deal was this. At the time that we started the podcast, it was 2015. And first of all, let me back up. Let me thank you for having me on
It's my
such
pleasure.
an illustrious platform. I am so grateful to be here with you today. I really am.
you.
You know I am. And I was equally like, hey, girl. Like,
Right?
I feel like we're lunch buddies and we don't even know it. But that was the thing. It was 2015, and I was in the middle of living between New Jersey and San Diego for work that my husband and I were doing with the clients. So we're back and forth between New Jersey and San Diego. 2 toddlers. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. We were, I feel like we were in a shuffle of trying to figure out how to be good at everything, right? I was like, first of all, I got toddlers. Like, that's a chokehold. Then I got a husband. That's another choke. Like, felt like everything was choking, but I felt like in friendship, I was like, am I sucking at this? I can't really tell. But one of the things that I knew was that my friends weren't. I was like, whenever I get back to New Jersey, they let me land. They don't judge me for being away, for not texting for a month, or for trying to figure out like when to call them back, calling them the wrong time zone, like being inappropriate. They were always so supportive and receptive. And I wanted to celebrate that in a way that felt good. That was on one side of my brain. On the other side of my brain was I had mentees that I used to mentor in my office hours in my office in New York. And that got wiped out when my life got very busy. And I felt so much guilt for not being available to like drop the stuff that they needed in their ears. And so I was on the phone with another girlfriend and I said, hey, this is a challenge I'm facing. I don't have enough time to do the mentorship that I want to do, but I want to make sure like I'm not dropping the ball on this because it's important. And she was in the same space where she was like me too. I said, you know what? I listen to podcasts all the time. I had been listening to podcasts for probably 1.5 years at that time. During my travel, I found them on the phone randomly. Didn't know what it was, but all I knew was like these lectures from white men about business. And I was intrigued by it. I'm like, this is dope. And I'm like, I don't hear a sister in this thing, but it's still good content. So when she and I talked about it, I said, I kind of want to, like start a podcast. She was like, I'm down. I listen to podcasts too. I said, all right, let's do it. So when we started the podcast, we didn't know what we were doing, but it happened that a client that I was working with was being pitched by Apple to start a podcast, a white male, right? And so I had the data on how to start a podcast. So I just took that information on how to start a podcast, and I realized there was no barrier to entry. We sat down, got all the content together. What are the questions that everyone's asking? What are the things that are missing? What are things that we wish we knew? And we decided that we would center it around giving like life hacks for women that made their life simple. And that it would be centered around friendship because that was the fixture. In your friendship, everything's almost good, right? Your life could be crumbling at work your life can be crumbling in your marriage or your relationship or your family life, with your parents, your siblings, whatever. But in your friendship, you expect things to be mostly good, like
Mm-hmm.
90% legit solid. And so we wanted that to be, in my head, I felt like that's a space where you're safe. That's a space where you can ask anything, not get judged. You don't have to be on, you can
Mm-hmm.
just be. And so the power of that is something that I experienced personally and something that I wanted to generate more of. So the idea was friendship was the centerpiece. If you can get that friendship down with yourself, you're good. Then if you get that friendship with yourself and you display that outwardly to other people, like your life is supercharged. And that was sort of the catalyst for the name and the brand and why friendship, because your life is no good without it.
So I think I told you that I might be a terrible friend. I think we talked about
And
this a little bit.
I don't see how.
Well, so okay, y'all know, like this is no secret. I have mommy issues.
Yeah,
It's no secret.
yeah.
I have mommy issues. I have sister issues.
Okay.
And so through therapy, I have learned and am learning that having trust issues with the women closest to you, being
Yeah.
your mom and your sister, that translates into friendships. Luckily, I have a really great relationship with my dad, so it didn't translate
Mhm.
into romantic relationships. But relationships with women have always been tricky for me. And so I see these great examples of friendships or even sisters online or in
Yeah.
movies and things, and not that I'm well, yeah, maybe a little jealous. Like, man, I have a lot of surface level friendships, and so when I think, over my life, and when I look at my parents and the lack of friendships in their life, all of this, with my adult mind is just coming together to paint a perfect picture of why I might be a terrible friend. So I don't say that lightly. I
Yeah.
really, and I'm serious about it, but it's
Yeah.
something that I am recognizing as I'm, growing and evolving in therapy and desiring.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I know that I'm not the only terrible friend because I have these conversations with
Yeah.
other women. So how do we redirect it? Like, am I too far gone, Sybil?
No, absolutely. Absolutely not. You crack me up. You're not too far gone. And remember, in 2015, and even now, we're in 2023, and I moved, right? I moved 2 years ago to LA from the East Coast. I know I've sucked that friendship over the past few years. I know it's been hard for me because I've been trying to decide how to live between places, how to let new people in without giving up space to my OGs, like my day ones, my greatest girlfriends, right? So I've been suffering with like, how do I expand the space and keep the quality the same? Like I want to still be great, and without spreading myself too thin. And so that's a reality. But I think that you're probably expecting too much of yourself in friendship. Like
I probably have I have an expectation of what I think friendship is supposed to be. And if I'm not living up to that, then I think I'm a terrible friend.
And that's hard on you because you set the bar too high for you to even reach. Like for me, friendship is simple. I've decided probably 5 years ago, I want to be enjoyed in my relationships. I want to be in friendship where I can get challenged. You can check me on things, but for the most part, you enjoy me. Like you actually like me.
You like this
And
version. You're not going to challenge this.
Hello?
Yeah.
And you're cool with my pivots and my shifts, and you're okay with me evolving without you judging or questioning my character, right? And I think sometimes we get caught up in this checklist in friendship of, are you loyal? Are you down? Thick and thin is a lot of life. Like that's a whole. How about can we have coffee? Can we do it again? Can we laugh when we're at coffee? Can I whisper something funny? Can I be petty and you still like know that I'm a good person? Right? Can we talk about vision, things like that? Can it be light? And then can we layer it with deep moments? But it doesn't have to be, can we just go deep diving like off top and then we friends for life, we getting tats. Like that's the thing that people tend to want to work for. They want to get there so fast because I do feel like social media has made us want to expedite the process on everything. So we're all trying to get to these pictures where we make it out the group chat and everybody's pushing their luggage, right? And or we're like, going to fashion week and doing all the things. And those come in the right season, but I think we forget about the progressive realization of something that's worthy.
And I think too, because that is the vision, it's like so close and so deep.
Yeah.
To me, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go the other way because it's going to take so long to even get to that point. So I might as well just go this direction. Do you think there are like friend categories? Like maybe I'm just a
Yes.
surface level friend.
No, that's not true.
That's
I
not true.
disagree with that.
Okay.
And the reason why I disagree with that, because friendship is just a category of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a husband
I do.
that you are. Look at that. Look at
A
that. Look
whole
how that's
husband.
oh, husband. Hey,
And
husband.
that's deep. That's deep. That's what you about to say. You about to go.
It's deep.
That's deep.
And you dove into it and you're putting in the work to sustain that deep relationship.
Mhm.
So it's in you. The same criteria that it takes to sustain a marriage. Like the quality of relationship and time. That's the same thing that you're planting in the friendships. You just have to let go of the idea that what happened to you in your other relationships has to happen in these. That's not the truth. Like you literally can chart a new path. And if that weren't the case, you wouldn't have gotten married. Because
Okay,
historically
okay,
speaking,
okay,
you would have been
okay.
like, shoot, these jokers out here in these streets do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But your husband qualified for a deeper level relationship.
This is facts.
So you just got to have qualifiers. And you have to know that the same qualifiers that you have for a relationship, you also have within you to give to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not surface level. You just got to let people get beneath the surface to enjoy your qualifiers.
Okay, we working on it.
That's all.
I'm sorry I put you in a position to be like my therapist.
Girl, you're not.
My friendship therapist.
Yeah, listen, I'm just somebody
this is
that
friend
believes
therapy right
in
here.
it. But I believe in it, and I believe in you, and I've seen how you navigate relationships. So I'm like, if you can have a spouse that you enjoy, like that you want to be with,
all hope is not lost.
all hope is not lost.
Okay, I'm gonna check back
Yeah.
in. I'm gonna go get some friends. I think too
Where
that
you going to get friends?
I'm so not a fake phony person. That's another thing
Yeah.
too, that it's like I don't want fake friends. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend to be friends.
Right.
I'd rather not have friends than have friends that I'm pretending with. So that's another thing too. I'm working on it though.
But this is the catch to that. For me, friendship happens so deeply offline, right? It's kind of weird because you don't even know how many friend moments I have that I just don't share. And I don't share them sometimes because I think they're so precious that I'm like, I
Y'all don't
want the
deserve to
public
even see
have
this. Yeah.
Right. I'll put everybody else's friendship on display, but mine, I'm like, no, this is close to the vest because these are special. But I realize more and more that people are hungry to see authentic relationship. And when I tell you like how many chapters of life I've traveled through with friends when I was Greek, like when my father was passing in 2020 and I didn't have muscle to pack my house and I come over and my girls are packing my house for me. I didn't ask them. I don't even know when they planned it. I wasn't on that group chat. So I was like, first of all, y'all got a separate group text without me. Okay, noted. But then, and there's good things happening on it. But still, I was like, how powerful is that they were able to catch all my blind spots?
Mhm.
Don't you want that kind of love?
Yes.
Yeah, but then you have to put yourself
That
in
sounds
position.
amazing. That someone is thinking of you. Because that's what I get from my husband.
Yeah.
So to think of having an extended family
Absolutely.
that is that deep, that is like, yes, I would love to have that.
Forgive.
Mm.
You got to forgive. You got to forgive. You got to forgive the people who made the mistakes that they didn't even know were mistakes. They made habits out of mistakes, and you have to forgive them for that. Because that's facts. They didn't even know.
In my logical brain, y'all, I'm sorry y'all have came to my therapy session. In my logical brain, it's like, I know y'all didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have friends yourself, so you didn't even know how to be a friend. Like, I know that logically.
Yeah.
But then in the reality of it, it's still something that's like, nah, no thanks.
Because you're going to be practicing it all throughout your life. You're going to be practicing forgiveness. But I'm going to tell you straight up, because I'm looking at my mother who is turning, I can't say, she would kill me if never mind. My mother's turning 22 this year. But when my father passed, her girlfriends, like my mom was married to my dad for 53 years before he passed. And she's in this stage of her life where she's living solo now. And I can't get her on the phone because her girlfriends carry her. Let's go out. They just went to go see Diana Ross. They travel, they hang out, they eat lunch, they do Bible study, they do all these things together. And there's actual data that shows that women who have friendships live longer. They make it through more disease, right? There's more healing properties to relationship. And here's why. Because remember, friendship is 90% all good, right? But in your marriage, things could be 75% sucky. And that can be cancer to your body. That can be stress. That can increase high blood pressure. But friends are supposed to be a place where the issues dissolve a bit. right? They dissipate. Like there's less, and the quality of relationship is supposed to be supreme. So that's why you want to make sure you're investing in that relationships, that channel of relationship, because as you start journeying through different facets of life, there's so many questions that I ask that I love my husband for. I love him, but he can't answer them like my girlfriends can because he ain't a woman. He just doesn't even understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when I'm like, I'm about to go in that room and bat. And my friends pull me back, like, girl, stop, pause. Are you seriously going to argue over something so small? You know what I mean? Like, they're there to reinforce my values to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm scared or I need to go have a mammogram or something, I got somebody to go with me to have that mammogram moment, and we celebrate and we make it something special. So there's so much endearment there. And I mean, in terms of quality of life, literally, no lie, every doctor will tell you quality of life is improved by your friendships, not by your spouse, not by your mama, your sister, all these people that tend to extract value from the person that you become, but your friendships. And again, when I look at my mother, and now my father has been deceased for 3 years, my mother still has quality relationships that are carrying her. So she's not without. So we think about it, how you live your life will be measured by like how you invest in these friendships.
You just made such a good point. I'm really gonna get my shit together
I'll put
because
you on friendship.com and get you a
seriously,
profile.
get seriously. And I have good friends, but I think because
Yeah.
of my trauma, I'm an in and out friend. I
Got
don't
it.
give too much
Yeah.
because I got trust issues. So
Yeah.
but I am going to commit
Yeah.
to doing better because I think I don't know how you feel about Kevin Samuels, but may he rest in peace. One of the things that he always preached was like, you don't want to die alone, right?
You don't want to
And
die
he was talking
alone.
about in reference to a man.
Yeah.
But to your point,
Yeah.
the friendships that you have are going to be just as much, if not as, more important than
Absolutely.
making sure that you have a spouse. It's like,
Yeah.
let's make sure we have a whole village, like a whole
Right.
support team
Right.
versus just this one person, because we
Right.
know that everybody's not going to live forever. And so we think about, we're pressuring Black women to get married so they don't die alone, but are we talking about the value and importance of
Not
friendships?
enough.
Are we talking about interpersonal relationships outside of just romantic relationships? Like
Right.
that's another reason why I'm so
Right.
intrigued by you and how you've dedicated your life to this concept of friendships,
Yeah.
because we don't talk about it.
Well, it's because I believe in it because it saved me. Like when I was 21 and near suicide, it saved me. Like it gave me life, it gave me hope, it gave me breath, it gave me connection. I started to believe in myself and other women again. Like through people, through women saying, this is not going to be your whole story. Like real friends, really great girlfriends, true friends will help you to experience the best parts of your story. They're not going to let you stop right here. They're going to make that investment because they see you for who you really are, not what you're experiencing in the moment. And you can be on a peak right now, but they're like, girl, there's a whole nother cloud for you. And we're going to help get you there, right? That's what really, really great friendship will do, can do. My great girlfriends are executives at their companies, and they volunteer at my conferences stuffing bags like interns. And I come in and I cry crocodile tears. Like these women have no ego when it comes to friendship. And I'm like, cause Sybil, friendship doesn't have an ego. It shouldn't have an ego.
So bad friendships,
Horrible.
horrible friendships.
Dirty.
How do you? I'm assuming you've had
Yeah.
some terrible friendships.
Girl.
How do you trust again? How do you
Yeah.
not let like a betrayal stop you from still growing and exploring friendships with new people?
Because it's real time, right? Like I'm experiencing something even this month where I had to say, you are not my source. You were not my definition of friendship. In fact, you are obviously my definition of bad friendship. You're not my source, so you don't get to continue to funnel all of these bad experiences or this narrative into my life. It stops here. It stops here. And I just have to put an end to it. I have to put a complete stop to it. And I have to realize that every single one of us, myself included, we're human and we make a ton of mistakes. Ton of mistakes. So if I can forgive you for your mistake, or if I can forgive myself for my mistakes, I can forgive you for your mistakes. Now, if you can't forgive yourself and you operate in that spirit of guilt and betrayal and denial and rejection, all those things, then you've disqualified yourself from the next stage of our friendship, right? Because at that point, we can't heal because you're still caught up in the unforgiveness of said scenario.
So how do you know when enough is enough? Like, how do you know when to cut off a friend when maybe this has become toxic?
Yeah.
Or because there's this whole narrative that, you know, women give so much, we give men so much rope to hang themselves, but we will cut a friend off in a heartbeat.
Quick
So how
facts.
do you know when you're being taken advantage of, or, you know,
Yeah.
when you truly need to just cut it off and let it go?
Yeah. You know, I came across that scenario in 2020. And it was the first time in my adult year. Actually, that's not true. It's the first time in my adult years where I was willing to assess it. I had a scenario prior where I was very clear that that was betrayal. I was very clear that this person did not qualify for any space in my sphere of influence, connection, relationship. You out of the inner circle. You just got booted because you don't want to be here if you treat me this way. But this person was dear to me, and I struggled with releasing her. And the reason why I released her, it's like God gave it to me, and I was like, okay, I'm riding with this. It came to me in a text. We were having a conflict, and she was treating me in a way that was like, "What? This is left field. What in the world is happening?" And I gave her outs. I said, "Are you having a bad day? Are you ill? Did somebody hit you
What
in
are you
your
going
head?
through over
Are
there?
you in a car accident? What's going on? Something's happening because you're tripping, right?" And she couldn't take it. She wasn't willing. She was ready to box. I said, "Listen, you and I don't agree on how I should be treated." And it was like a brick in my heart that landed like that's the new standard. How should I know how I should be treated. I'm very clear on how I should be treated. I deserve dignity. I deserve respect, forgiveness, love, connection. You can laugh at me. Good friends will laugh at each other and keep it moving. I deserve those things. And you're punching me and condemning me and judging me and being critical of me. And you're not forgiving me. You're holding me to something that I don't even really have clarity on. So you're creating chaos and division in my life. We don't agree on how I should be treated. So let me let you go. Once I got that line, I spread like wildfire. I was like, up in Target. You don't agree how I should be treated. You don't agree on how I should be treated. Honey, you don't agree. I was telling everybody, you don't agree. We don't agree on how I should be treated. Therefore, you got to go. I ain't going. You going. Because I have a standard for how I should be treated. And I'm not willing to compromise on it. Now, if I make a mistake, I'm willing to say, you know what? That's my bad. I didn't do that right. I should have done better. And I understand if you don't have space for me right now, but hopefully we can regroup on being friends again. But that's my bad. I should have done better right there.
So in those moments where, because we're human, life be lifing, and things will come up. We will be going through things that maybe even our best of friends we haven't shared that with. What's your advice for the strong friend? Like, how do you navigate that space? Because it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress. What do you do when you are naturally the strong friend in the group?
Yeah. I think sometimes I fall into that category. So this is a perfect question for me because people are like, you great girlfriends. So you know
You're supposed to know everything, have
I
it all
get
together.
punched in the gut too. I get betrayed. I get let down. I get judged. I get criticized. All the things happen to me just like they happen to everyone else. And what I've told myself is if I stick to my standard, I'm going to always win. If I stick to my standard. And my standard is my purpose in relationship is to deposit love and light. That's my purpose. I'm very clear on who I want to be to my friends, right? I know that I'm gonna be real human in between that, but that's my highest positive intent. And if you make space for me to reach my highest positive intent relationship, then we can always have something, right? If you understand Sybil's going to make mistakes, but her best intention is here. Save some hope for me to be there, right? Don't always relinquish me to being the worst of who I am. Save hope for me to get to my highest space and work with me while I'm in that in between. So I tell women all the time the things that I go through, which is that I'm cool with my imperfections. And I think we need to be cool with being imperfect. The strong friend is imperfect too. So when the strong friend got weakness, like cover her.
That part.
Don't slap her.
And don't always put her on such a pedestal that she feels twice as bad when she falls down, or she can't mess up because she's supposed to hold everybody down.
Catch her
It's
fall.
it's a hard place to be.
It's a hard place to be. Give her space. When she falls, she will catch her fall. I got to a place where I needed tenderness. I had
Mm.
never really felt like I needed tenderness in my relationships until 2020. When my father passed, the world shattered for me, and I was like, I am literally 5 again, and I need to be tender. So I made it very clear. I did not hide any of my pain anytime. In my friendships, I would tell them, I'm real tender right now. And so I felt like they tiptoed for a while, and I was okay with that. The strong part of me never wanted people to have to tiptoe around me. But if you
Mhm.
got to tiptoe so that I can heal, go ahead and tiptoe. Text me when you got when we can have a clear conversation, or when you're ready to let me be tender. So tenderness was something that I really decided was a part of like my persona. I was like, actually, I like being tender.
So what does that look like? Because another I guess life be life and type of thing is
Yeah.
like your friends are gonna go through things. We're
Yeah.
gonna stumble, we're gonna fumble, we're gonna go through heartbreak, we're gonna go through health issues, we're gonna go through things.
Right.
I am very awkward
Yeah.
in those moments.
Mhm.
And I am very aware of my awkwardness. I think my friends are aware of my awkwardness as
Yeah.
well. But I don't want to always be awkward. I'm a grown ass woman. I got to figure out how to navigate tough conversations,
Yeah.
uncomfortable situations, and how to still be there for people. So, in that moment
Mhm.
when you were really going through something, you were able to identify, okay, this is what I need, and you could communicate
Yeah.
that this is what you need. What is your advice for maybe dealing with someone who they don't know what they need? You don't
Yeah.
know what they need. You know they need something. You're trying to be there, but you don't want to make it worse. You don't want to be
Yep.
weird. You don't want to bring it up again.
Yep.
Like that.
Girl.
Whether it's grief or, I mean, it's just so, it's
Cancel culture,
a lot.
hatred.
You almost got canceled.
No, not me.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I hope y'all better not try.
No,
I'm
they
gonna
be
be.
trying.
How you gonna come and try to cancel
That
me?
part.
But anyway,
The
no,
friendship
but
lady. You can't cancel
you can't
friendship
cancel me. I don't get canceled.
lady. That
But
part.
no, but but people, people have a public profile and they go through things, and there's a lot of shame that comes with that, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of rejection. And so I got into a space, and I would tell any woman that's going through that space to be able to say, I don't know. We think we always have to have the perfect answer, the perfect text, the perfect caption, the perfect profile, the perfect filter, the perfect light. I don't know. I don't know. Koereyelle, I want to hug you. I don't even know if you want to hug right now. Like I understand that you experienced something. I don't know what to say except I love you. You might need space, or ask the big question. What does support look like for you right now? Somebody asked me that, and I said, "God, dog, that's about the best question." Like, I actually don't,
Let
but
me think about
yeah,
this.
but if I tell you this answer, you better be giving me
That
3 off
part.
of my list.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, saying like, I don't know, I don't know,
Not
and being
expecting to have all the
okay,
answers.
don't have all the answers, and I'll update you when I get the updates. I'll update you. I have a friend that was going through something real time just this week, and I didn't know what to say to her. It was so many texts I thought in my mind. I was like, that's coming too heavy. She ain't gonna want to hear that. She probably got, I overthought it to the point where we got on the phone, and I told her, I said, I am sorry that you're going through this. That's all I had for her. I wanted to text you and I didn't know what to say. And I'm even sorry about that. What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't even have good words. And I got words. I got words. But I was speechless at her experience, and I was hurting, and I felt paralysis. And she was good. And it's so even when I've gone through things and people have been like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't have words for it, but pain or hurt or rejected, and I think it's okay for us to not have all the answers, not be very clear, and just say, I have space for you. I'm holding space. If you ever need to talk, I'm holding space for you. Because there have been times where I'm going through something, I'll call a friend and we just sit on the phone. And they're just like, girl. I'm like, you know, just sitting there holding space. That's it. And that's healing.
Just knowing I got you.
I got you. I got you. When it feels like nobody got me, like just holding space, or even just a heart text. It doesn't have to be the hero text. You ain't got to save anybody. You just want to deposit, make a deposit of love in some form. And I feel like we forget that stuff matters too. We always want to do the big things. You don't need to send me any big gift if you are talking behind my back.
That part.
hating on me.
Please, please.
I like your gift and I'm gonna probably keep it, but I also prefer, in addition to your gift, that you show me some real tangible love that I can live on. You know what I mean? Because that's the stuff that we eat off of.
What would you say are some lessons about friendship that you want your daughter specifically to learn? And not because you told her, but because she
Yeah.
sees you in action.
Mm. I want her to like ride for women, to love us, specifically love, like be so in love with being a black woman that she's so anchored in it that she doesn't have to think twice about it. She just fully embodies it. So when she enters rooms, she's always a friend to the black woman in the room and other women. But I always want to make sure she is anchored
It's
in
only
this
black women
first.
watching this show, so that's you good.
But you know, I want her to know that first. Like I want her to, and to be a friend to us when she sees us. Unapologetically. And be willing to like fix her sister's crown and get her crown fixed too. Be open. When somebody come to fix your crown, don't get defensive. Be like, thanks, sis, and receive it. Like I want her to have that. And I want her to always have us and our legacy in her mind. Like how she considers decisions in her career. Is she representing us? Is she making space for us? Is she endearing to us? If she's a writer, is she projecting us and giving us positive narratives? Like I want her to have that, be a friend in the way she exhibits black woman culture. That's what I want for her.
I love
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
I think that you are an example. Like she's
so.
seeing that.
Yeah.
It's not just something she's gonna hear about. Like she's able to witness it and learn it in real time. So I don't think she has a choice.
I want her to be like, I want her to just love it and just be like, when she sees, when she sees another sister, I want that like parade. That I want her blood, the blood in her veins just pump, like just this invigorating.
pride. Yeah.
That pride. And I want her eyes to twitch and dance when she sees us. Like when see somebody in Target, wherever brand she is, she's just like, hey girl, you don't have to know her to just love on her. Yeah.
How the hell are you a good friend with these kids and his husband? Like, how do you have time? How do you have time? I must know. Seriously, because you talk on the phone to people.
Yeah,
you're keeping up with people. How?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what it is? Like, it's only my portion too, because I promise you there's a whole gap of places where I'm not. Like, I just do my portion. Like, my portion is this, and I'm not on for hours.
Okay.
I'm on like, hey.
So do you give yourself like a time block?
I do.
On Fridays, I'm gonna call all my girls on Fridays. Help me.
So here's the deal. Because so big part of me, I move west and I start feeling extreme guilt because everyone is 3 hours ahead. So I start having FOMO. Like my friends are group texting at 4 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell myself, don't wake up, don't jump into text because it's going to keep me up. So after I drop the kids off at school or after I come from, the gym, or actually after I do like prayer in the morning, whatever, I call one friend, one a day. That's my goal.
Oh, not the same one, but that's like your friend time.
I call one a day. If I owe somebody a call back from the day before, I try to call that one a day. Or if it's somebody that I haven't spoken to in a while, I actually in my head will have a list. Like I'm gonna hit this person up tomorrow. And I'll do one a day in the morning and I'll do like one in the afternoon or so. And I text in between, hey girl, just love you, thinking of you. You good?
Aww.
Now my text, you text me Tuesday, you might not get a text back till Thursday. Because I am that far behind on text. I'm guilty.
But your friends know that about you,
and they
right?
know that. And that's one of those blind spots. And they love me through it. They're like, she going to text me back in 2050. That's fine. And I will. But in the middle of that, like, I do my part. Like, I'm not trying to be everything you need and more in one friend. Because I can't. I'm just trying to be my portion.
That part.
That's it.
Do you have friends like that? That wanted more of
Absolutely.
you than you could handle?
Yep. And I have to like safely create distance because I do know that I'm capable of letting you down. And my emotional intelligence tells me the best part of me for you is going to be real far apart. It ain't going to be up close because you want more.
You're going to be mad at me. You're going to be mad at me. So let's just.
You're going to hate me and you're going to think I'm not who I am. You're going to think I'm a fake version of the great girlfriends. I'm not a fake version. I'm my version.
Do you feel pressure to be like the greatest girlfriend?
I used to. Not anymore. Like probably years 1 through 5, I felt like I had to continually put that criteria on display. And then
like I really am a great girlfriend.
Yeah, like I can do this. This is how, because I would get lots of friendship questions And I'm like, I'm asking that same question. And so people will be like, but wait, I don't have all the, wait, oh, y'all thought I had all the answers. So I started having more conversations about being human. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking questions too. I don't know. We figuring this out together. I just fell on my head and said something dumb to my friends. And people would go, you? Yes. I'm just as slow sometimes in friendship as the next person.
That's what disarms people, though, because I don't have it all together. I'm learning this is not a destination. It is a journey. Yes, and y'all are just a witness to my journey.
You're a witness to my journey, and I'm real honest with the fact that I don't know what I'm doing all the time.
Okay, I need you to be real honest with this question.
Okay.
So on...
hold up. I've been honest with all the questions, but go ahead.
You have, but this one is a little tricky. This one's a little tricky,
Okay.
So on Dear Auntie last week, Dear Auntie is one of my podcasts where people write in, ask for advice. One of the questions, a young lady had been friends with someone for, I think, 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
The night before the friend's wedding, the friend had sex, slept with somebody else, cheated on the fiance, woke up the next day and got married like nothing ever happened. The friend who wrote in is all confused. She's like, I don't know what to do. I feel some type of way. Should I say something? Should I still be friends with her? I don't know what to do. Me and my co-host had 2 different opinions. I would like to know your opinion from the friendship expert.
Girl.
What would you do?
Ooh, that's tricky.
Tricky, right?
She didn't find out until they got married.
They were together. So we're friends.
So,
You're getting married tomorrow. We're hanging out, and you go and sleep with somebody tonight. And then tomorrow we just wake up, put our dresses on, and have the wedding.
So you knew. She knew that night.
Mm-hmm. But it's eating her up inside. She said, like, it's been killing me. I don't know what to do. Should I do anything? Am I tripping? Should I feel some type of way? Should I care?
Okay, that's so tricky. I don't condone what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Not the friend, the bride. The
Mm-hmm.
bride is out of order, out of pocket, in my eyes. Now, again, I don't know that bride's relationship with her groom.
Right.
They may have had some type of code that said.
Well, she said cheated. She did say she cheated on the.
Cheated. She cheated. Yeah, that's.
You
so
tried
tricky.
to clean it up. That was real nice. What you did. That was real nice.
Maybe they said you got like a cheat night and y'all go do what y'all do. Okay, so that's not the case. So, in my version of friendship, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm going to the friend and I'm saying, I ain't with that. I ain't. And I probably would have done it the night before. I would have been freaking out like, girl, I can't be in this wedding tomorrow. That's first. I probably wouldn't have been in the wedding because I would have been like, I have to withdraw myself because I'm not with this version of whatever's showing up on the altar. I'm not down with it. And I would have told the friend that she needs to communicate it with her groom, but that's their relationship. So for me, I'm going to go to the friend, share with the friend, hey, I'm not with it. What you did, like, that wasn't cool for you. That wasn't cool for y'all. You deserve better than that. You should be doing better. And I'm going to withdraw myself from the wedding without explanation to anyone. I'm just going to withdraw. The friend knows. She's going to have to work that conversation out. But I'm not going to co-sign on that because I'm not going to send them into their marriage with that kind of deception on my head, in my heart. So I would probably stop at the friend. And the reason why is because I'm accountable to the friend. And the friend is accountable to the marriage, right? If I were friends to the relationship, I probably would still do the same thing. It's so tricky because I wouldn't, out of respect for her, she has to have space to navigate how she communicates with her spouse or her groom. But at the same time, I don't want to get deeply embedded in people's mess, right? And so, and that's her story to live out with him. I just know I can't co-sign on any bad behavior that's going to fall back on me and also not going to give you, and if that's how she moves, she's going to put her in more precarious situations where she got to decide how she feels. It's too much for me. And that's my way out, and I'm out. What did you say? I don't even know. Like,
listen, so my co-host is like, I don't really know how that affects my, our friendship. I it's sketchy. And I'm like, girl, I can't be friends with you no more. I can't trust you. Your morals are trash. You stupid for doing this in front of other people. Like, people know about it. You don't even care enough to care that people, right, you're reckless. And I got a husband and you can't come over my house. So that's where my mind would be going. Like, you don't even honor this man that you're going to marry.
Did you tell him?
No, no, I wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
Now that is where I draw the line.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now that is where I draw the line. I'm not gonna tell your business, but
Right,
I
right.
can't be friends with you
I'd
no
be
more.
like, and you need to tell him. You need to tell him. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
but that's on you. But I'm not
I'm
gonna know if
out.
you tell him or not. I'm gonna mind my business
But
in that sense.
I'm ghosting your life
But
at
you
this
can't
point.
exactly. You just
Yeah.
somebody I used to know because you
Nope.
can't bring that to my house.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if I was tripping. Because
it's crazy because bad behavior. You co-sign on it once, you're gonna be in Costa Rica on a trip, and
that
it's gonna
part.
happen again.
That
You're gonna be
part.
in Jamaica, and it's gonna like.
And then your husband not gonna be mad at me because
my
I'm the
God.
friend that was down with it. No, I can't be involved. But okay, I just want to make sure. That's a no-go.
Because if that's your standard, but now if you're that homegirl, that gets down with the get down, then you gotta know it's gonna come back on you eventually. And there are people that are like that. They're like, this is what we do, this is how we roll. If that's y'all's thing, just know it's gonna come back to bite you. It
is.
always does.
It is.
And that's not my thing, and it's not healthy, it's toxic.
And I think
it always comes back
to having a standard for yourself. And I
Yeah.
get that, some things that I used to maybe be okay with back a decade ago, we've evolved. Hopefully we are all maturing and growing.
Right.
And if you are still okay with doing, those things that are a representation of the versions that we used to be, I don't think that
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work because we're
not gonna
literally
work.
going in two different directions. Is that a thing in friendship
Mhm.
where there may not be a conflict, but we're not seeing eye to eye. We're
Absolutely.
just growing apart.
Yep.
Have you experienced this?
Absolutely.
Like an amicable friend breakup?
I got to a person's wedding. I was very good friends with this person. I knew her in one version, and then we got to the week of her wedding, and she didn't do that. But I met all of her her OG friends, and they just got down differently than how I knew her. And I was like, oh, oh, okay. This is
So this is who
part-
you really
yeah,
are.
this is who you are. Because I mean, when they came in doing X, Y, and Z, I was thinking she's not about to be a part of that, and she was, and I was like,
And she came right in, and
she
you like, well,
came
wait a minute.
and I was like, well, I gotta go. Y'all can go ahead again, do what you do. That's your thing. I'm not here to judge you. I am here to create that distance for myself because I'm not down with it. And after her wedding, we had lunch, and I told her, I said, I was really caught by surprise at some of the things that were cool with you during your wedding week. And she was like, we just get together, we have a good time type thing. But they go on trips 6 times a year. So I'm like, y'all are always out and about. So this is part of your life. She was just hiding it from me. And I told her, I was like, well, some of that stuff, it's just so old to me. I feel like that's taking me back to college and when I was single and didn't have a husband, didn't have the highest standards all the time. I'm working on something different. And so she was like, I get it. So you telling me, I'm not gonna see you as often. I said, absolutely. You're not gonna see me as much.
That part, but you so cool, girl.
I love you.
I'm praying for you. I hope everything
I'm
is
praying
okay.
for you. And they ended up divorced because all of that stuff was tripping into their marriage. And her husband was like, I didn't know. And I was just like,
I ain't know either. And that's the thing too. When you do get married, having to ensure that the people who you have around you are advocates, I guess, for a healthy marriage. Not that everybody has to love your spouse, but
Right.
having people who believe in love, having people
Right.
who are advocates for relationships.
right.
Because I've had to let go of friends who I don't feel like people are always jealous of you, but I feel like as single women, we all have this goal, me and my friends at least, to get married. Like that's what we
Yeah.
all wanted.
Mhm.
So if one of us gets married before the other one, I'm not going to be mad about that because we're all working
Mhm.
towards this thing. But I do feel like that becomes a thing sometimes when the single friends start dropping off and becoming wives, and then there's
Yeah.
some singles still left, and it puts a hinder on the relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes, in my opinion, how do you navigate
Yeah.
single friends being a married woman, or do you? Is that
Yeah.
still a thing?
No, I do, because I have a lot of single friends. I have friends that have gone through divorce and are back single again, right? So they evolved in their relationships. I feel like anyone who's a friend to me has to be a friend to my marriage. Gotta be a friend of my marriage. You gotta be a friend of my kids because those are things that matter to me. So you don't have to be besties with my husband, but you have to respect his posture and his position in my life, right? And you don't even have to be a friend of marriage per se. You might be a person who hates marriage, don't believe in all this stuff, but you need to show respect to my marriage, my union, which
Mhm.
means have your opinions about things, but don't impose them on the way that I move and how my house lives, because um that's my queendom, right? That's the space that's where I have dominion, and I have to always protect that against things, people,
Anything and anybody.
and you don't get to decide when people become the anything or anybody.
Mm.
People switch gears all the time. So, when there's certain standards, I mean, I have single friends again who are just amazingly vibrant, beautiful, and gorgeous. But I ask this question all the time with any friend. I'm like, would I leave my husband alone with this person? This is a question I ask. That's married or single. I'm like, if I can leave my husband alone with this person, then you're in a whole separate category of life for me. If my kids can get in the backseat of your car, you are in a whole. You have
You've
bypassed
reached the
friendship.
pinnacle.
You are there. You are all the way there, and I can say safely that I have people that I do. Then I have some that I'm like, you haven't you still don't understand boundaries with men. You're not finna linger laugh and slow shoulder my husband. You're not gonna pat his knee. That's not your knee to pat. Like you
Have you have these things happened?
I just had to reinforce
Have you had
space.
to
I've had to cause you're not my husband. Like, and again, I'm now 17 years into marriage. And so early in the marriage, I had to realize, like, as a wife, you have to let people know.
You got to be ready to ride
You
out here because people
have to
will try
just-
you with your kids and with your man.
They
You
will
have to
try you.
you have to let them know you are not to be played with.
And so I've had to just be very clear about that. Very clear, very clear. Clear with them. My husband has the right to be the man that he is, and I trust him. But with you doing the extra, the most, I'm gonna need you to back that up.
Mhm.
And I'm not in relationship with those people because they couldn't understand the boundary
That part.
and respect like my assignment as a wife.
Mm.
So I have friends again, single ones that get to come over. If you come into my house and you're single, I love you deeply and I trust you. Right? Think about that.
Oh, I
Think
know.
about like
I've had some
like
trifling friends that's like,
yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
can't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a wife and you don't really love your husband, we're gonna have problems in our conversation, our style. We're not likely to have wife relationship, like friendship, very long because that kind of behavior is being reinforced in my life, and I'm building for the long term, and I don't want that planted in me.
Exactly.
So I'm always like assessing, reassessing, not in necessarily, I'm not judging, but I'm taking note of things. And as people evolve, as people build new standards, as they start tripping or they start doing more or less of things, I have to decide how close, like what amount of proximity I'm giving. And with your children are babies. Like
Mhm.
you got littles. When you start to, they start to grow up and you're going to want to expand your village a bit because you need help. Everybody, any woman who has children needs a lot of help to
Mhm.
support that. But you're still not going to change your standard. Your standard's not going to expand. Your village will, but it's going to be people with
That
different
meet those requirements.
that meet those requirements.
Mhm.
And they're going to be single friends, divorcees, widows, elders, all types of people. But you're going to have your standards in place and be clear about and be discerning
That part.
about who qualifies to get proximity because not everybody qualifies. Yeah,
Not
it's super
everybody
important.
meets the standard. I think that's such a struggle though when the people who don't meet the standard are your day ones. They're your
Yep.
OG, triple OGs. They're the people
Yep.
who you just are comfortable with. They're the people who sometimes keep you stuck because you
Yeah.
are so comfortable with them and because they are a representation of who you used to be and not who you're becoming.
Yep.
So it's tricky.
It is
Which is
tricky.
why the Great Girlfriends is such a needed resource. So
Oh,
for the people who
thank
have
you.
not tuned in, y'all gonna tune in now,
Tune
okay? Let them
in.
know where they can find it, how they can
Okay.
follow you online, social media, all
Yes.
that good stuff.
Aw, thank you so much. Thank you. And I promise you, when I tell you your great girlfriends are gonna start DMing
I
you,
was gonna
'cause they're
say,
gonna
don't
be
invite
like,
me to the
"Girl,
show. I can't come to the
oh,
show
you are
until I
coming
get
to the show.
Give me some time to get some great girlfriends.
You don't, no, that's not what we're doing.
Okay.
First of all, you are a great
Thank
girlfriend.
you.
And the women
My
that
friends are gonna watch this and be like, bitch. You was on there talking like, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know who y'all are.
The way you talked about us, like we not.
Yeah,
but
I love y'all.
but watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm telling you, you're gonna start to look at your relationships differently because you're gonna realize that everything that you've been searching for, you already had. Even if it's like 2. If it's,
I got a strong 2. I got 2. I got a strong 2.
most of us only have a strong 2 to 3.
You just said your group chat like it's 25 ladies in these chats.
No, we don't have 25 ladies in the chat.
How many good friends would you say you have? Seriously.
Good friends?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that's tough for me because I'm a gatherer.
Is it a 5? Is it a 10? Is it a 25? Come on, because I got 2 here. I'm just trying to see like.
You can go higher. I'm gonna tell you, like, you can go.
So I need to step my game up.
Okay. You can have more.
Okay.
You can have more.
I can stand to grow a little bit.
You can grow.
Okay.
You can grow a lot more.
Okay.
Like you can grow. Like at your birthday party, there you can have like quality. I have some great girlfriends. I got sisters. But think about this though. You have to also understand I am over 40.
I'm not that much under 40, so
Yeah,
that's not that much of an excuse. Thank you. That's not that much of an excuse, okay? I've had plenty of time.
All right. I'm over 40, and I've been refining this for a long time.
Okay. I gave up, so I'm getting back into.
Up. No,
yeah.
So I'm like I've been open because even when I got to LA, and I'm gonna say this quick story, and I know we got to go. So I have a top 5 in LA, and I was talking to one of my top 5, and I was telling her how she was one of my top 5, and she was like, me? I was like, oh snap! She didn't even know. She didn't know she was one of my top 5. She was like, I'm in the top 5. I said, and that's the sad part about it. I haven't even let my top 5. Like I haven't given them the amount of love that the top 5 should have. She didn't even know. But the way I think of her and want to hang out with her when I have time, she texts me. I'm like, hey girl. She didn't even know it. So I still have to do a lot of work on that, right? But do I have like my top 5 out here? I got a top 10 out here. But these are women that are.
You got a top 10 just out
Top
here.
10 out here because the quality relationships travel everywhere you go. So like some of my New York friends have moved out here, etc. But I'm saying that to say I have I got an amazing sphere of great girlfriends. I really do. I am not thirsty for friendship at all. At all. And I can't even put a number on it because I'm like, well, then I got friends in this area. I got friends in entrepreneurship. I got friends from church. I got friends, like I have different connection spaces, and they don't all come together in necessarily one space at one time. And there's multiple group chats for different things, but they're all amazing. I sound like a pimp right now.
No,
That's kinda crazy. I'm like, oh crap.
This purpose over there. They got this group.
I got these over. I got my bottoms. I got my top. No, but I do. I have really, really great. I'm saturated in it, and so I'm telling you that God is gonna
my 2.
God is gonna triple your 2, and you're gonna get in trouble for saying you had 2 when
they find out.
With 5 people thinking that they're your 2.
I have 14 bridesmaids, and we're gonna end with that.
So here you go.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Girls Stop Playing. We'll talk about that on your show. All right, make sure y'all follow Sybil. Okay, The Great Girlfriends.
I love you so much.
Right?
TheGreatGirlfriends.com.
TheGreatGirlfriends.com.
And The Great Girlfriends on Instagram and Sybil_Amuti on Instagram. And I do answer my DMs.
Come on, she answers her DMs, but not in the bed because we
I
stopped
don't,
that.
We're done with
we ain't
that,
playing those
we're not
games
gonna play
no
with Team
more.
Amuti after dark.
After dark. Check us out on the Black Love app, okay, on Couch Conversations. Yes. Shout out to Cody. It was amazing. We will be here again somehow, some way. When I get my friends together, y'all gonna hear me on an episode of Great Girlfriends. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. And take it a step further and go ahead and join our private community over on Patreon because it comes with some pretty bomb perks, including early and discounted access to our upcoming events, behind-the-scene exclusives with some of your favorite guests, the opportunity to call in on an upcoming show, the chance to vote on topics and guests for brand new shows, and I'm even giving you unlimited access to my vault of business classes where I'm teaching you everything from Airbnb to developing digital products and everything in between. And you can get access to our Patreon for as little as $5 a month, okay? Get in where you fit in, and I'll see you on the